Hi, welcome to this lesson. So, in this lesson, we are going to be talking about more of number methods. We're going to be talking about the parse int and the parse float methods, okay, of JavaScript. So, the parse int method or the parse float method, it parses a given string, okay. It parses a given string into a whole number or a decimal number depending on which one you're using. Okay, in here, so remember it's similar to the number method, right? Similar to the number method, but unlike the number method, spaces are allowed. For example, in the number method, if you give something like 20, 30, you're going to get an error, right? You're going to get a nan. But for the parse int method, this would work out. So let me show you a couple of examples so you understand everything. And so let's first look at the parse int method, okay? So I is going to be capitals in here, and it's going to convert into a whole number, your string into a whole number, and even if there are decimal numbers in here, it'll still convert it into a whole number. Okay, so this just converts it into a whole number, no matter what the number is, decimal number or otherwise. Let's look at a couple of examples. Okay, so console.log parse int of 2.4552. Let's see what we're getting. We're getting 2. It converted the entire thing into a whole number, and we're getting 2 finally. If this was like 5 or so, 2.5 something or so, still 2. What if it was 6? It just cuts off. Okay, it just cuts off the decimal, and you're not going to get a rounding off in here. So that's the difference between the other ones and this one. So there's no rounding off happening. So let's look at other examples. What if it's 568 or something like that? That's it. You're just going to get the number. It's a number already, so it's just going to be a number. But what if it has space 55 space 97 like this? What is it going to be? There you go. That's the difference. Okay, that is the difference. It just took the first one and it just completely ignored the second one. So it did not give us a nan like the number method. Okay, so that's one improvement over the number method, but it just took the first instance of a number and it just ignored the space and the rest of it. Okay, so that's how that happens. Now, one more example, 10.004. I'm just going to end up with a 10. Now, if there was just a word like this, obviously that's going to be a nan. But what if it was a word and after a space there is a number like this? What happens then? It's still going to be a nan. There's no use because it first encountered the string, right? The letters, right? So it's automatically going to convert the entire thing into a nan. But what if it was the opposite way? If it first encountered 20 and then there was hello. So we already saw what the parse int method does when it first encounters a number, right? There you go. It just takes the number and it leaves the rest of it. So as long as it does not first encounter a letter or encounter a bunch of characters, if it first encounters a number, you're still going to get a number as the output. So that's how that works. So as we saw so far, it converts decimals to whole numbers. So even if there are spaces between two numbers, it will still convert the first string to a whole number. And so it doesn't matter if a number has space around it as well. So I forgot to show you about that. What if it's like this? Okay, space at the start or at the end like that. What happens then? See, you're still going to get the number. So doesn't matter if there was extra space as well. And if the first instance of a string is a word or a letter, then you're going to get a nan, not a number. But if the first occurrence of the string is a number, then even if there are other letters after that number, it doesn't matter. It'll still convert the first number to a number and leave the rest of it just like that. Okay, so that's parse int. Now what about parse float? Now parse float converts a number to a floating point number or a decimal point number. Okay, so if the number is a whole number, if whole number, it leaves it be. Okay, it doesn't do much on it. It won't add decimal points to it. So unlike the parseInt method, which actually converts decimal points to whole numbers, your parse float method does not convert whole numbers to decimal point numbers. It just leaves them be. Okay. So let me show you a bunch of examples. And parse float is written like this. Just parse float in here. So I can actually give a variable as well. Okay. I can just say like this, 2.4552. Just an example, just to show you the different ways of using all of these methods. Okay, so instead of just giving the value inside of the parentheses, you can just give a variable inside of this as well, like this. So you can just give parse float of a, like this. Okay, and if you look at the output, it's going to be 2.4552. It does not round off, it does not do anything, it just exactly takes a value, and that's it. And if this was just a 568, just a whole number, just an integer, it takes it exactly. It just displays it exactly. And what if there was space? 5597 space 97, what happens then? Yep, it considers the first occurrence of it as the number, and since that's a whole number, it just keeps that as it is. And if it's 10.004, what do we get then? We're going to get the exact same 10.004. And if it was hello and 20, just like before, since it first encounters a string like this, we're going to get a nan. If it was just hello, just letters, that's still going to be a nan. But if it was 20 and then hello, it's going to be 20, because first occurrence was a number and not a string. Okay, so that's your parseInt and parseFloat methods. I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.